Fox News alert. While the White House makes a major push to convince Congress and the American people to launch an attack on Syria, one member of Congress, a Republican, is already sold on the idea.
And we're not talking John McCain. We're talking Republican Congressman Mike Pompeo, just returned from a trip to the Middle East. He joins us now to tell us what he learned there. Congressman, why are you in and behind the president?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. Thanks for giving me a chance to be on the show this morning. There's two big takeaways that I had from my trip to the Middle East. The first is range in the Middle East. That our president's failed policies have put us in this place, have put us in a really difficult spot in the Middle East where radical Islamic terrorists are on the rise, Hezbollah and Iran, and the Russians are now controlling much of what takes place in Syria. The second thing I saw consistently was that they realized that American inaction, a further weakness after Benghazi and our failure to do anything in response, and all the things this president has failed to do, if we fail to act again here, from the rise of global jihadis throughout the Middle East, sure, and that risk continue to increase.
Sure, everybody's watching. The United States did there, and Russia and Iran.
Precisely right.
And they're moving. But do you, Congressman, have a good feeling in your heart that this administration has a good strategy with what we're going to do with this pinprick operation?
Not at all. This president's
approach,
indeed.
Well, then why vote
for it? We have an independent obligation as members of Congress to try and behave in a way that's consistent with American national interests every day, every single day. And so the task that we have, I think, as members of Congress is to communicate that we think this president's current plans are not the right ones, that he needs to conduct an operation that recognizes what the real American threat is. And I and a handful of my colleagues are out there working every day to try and convince the commander-in-chief to behave in that very way.
Well, first off, your reaction. John Kerry says you have till Friday, Bashar al-Assad, to hand back your chemical weapons. How do you feel about this new deadline?
It's just too little, too late, much like most of what this administration has done. Look, in the Middle East, you can't consider Syria outside of the context of what's going on in the broader Middle East and the continued threats. We forget that there's still fighting going on in Yemen, that there's still radical jihadists running around in Pakistan, and America is engaged in those places, trying to keep pressure on al-Qaeda and keep the home front safe. Those are the kinds of things and the kinds of actions America can take to continue to protect Christian minorities throughout the Middle East, continue to make sure that our ally Israel is appropriately aided by an America that has important interests of its own in the Middle East.
Right. Well, one of the things, apparently, Mr. Assad sits down with Charlie Rose, and one of the things he says is, if the United States strikes us, we got friends who are going to retaliate. We're talking, it could be Russia, it could be Iran. And Congressman, the worry is little wars start big wars.
Steve and Brian, we're in this war, whether we like it or not. The president doesn't think so. He said al-Qaeda was on the run. He said this war is winding down. I wish it were so. I pray that it were so. It's simply not true. Reagan had it right. When America is prepared to demonstrate resolve and act in a way that demonstrates strength, we maximize the chances for safety here in the homeland. And I'm going to work every day between now and this isn't going to end over just this little issue here in Syria. This is a long battle against global radical Islam, and I intend to continue to make sure America protects its national interest in that important fight.
All right. Congressman Mike Pompeo, a Republican from my home state of Kansas. Congressman, thank you very much.
It's good to see you. Thank you.